On today's episode of Movie Man Cave, we're going to give our top 5 most loathed movies of all time, and then we're going to also talk about the Oscars. We saw your boobs. We saw your boobs. In the morning, we saw your boobs. Yeah, we have boobs. Yeah. Boobs. Yeah, boobs.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to Movie Man Cave.
Welcome.
I'm Stephen Billings.
And I'm Burt Reynolds.
That's Julian Morgan, by the way.
I'm Julian Morgan.
It's Julian Morgan. Don't get confused,
Okay.
because it's not Burt Reynolds. On today's show, obviously, we're going to be talking about our top 5 most loathed movies. We decided to
Hated movies
we hated them
of all time.
We got a little surprise for you at the end of the episode to help maybe ease some of the pain. But we're going to go ahead and get to that list. Let's get it out of the way.
All right, here we go.
Movies. All right, so now let's go. We'll start with yours, Julian.
All right, we decided that we're going to do 2 of our least favorite films of all time each, and then at the end we're both gonna like have a sort of universal one that we all hate together. All right, so starting with mine, number 5 for me is the movie Cars. It shows the complete opposite of what Pixar is capable of. I mean, with all the imagination that was put in the other movies like Ratatouille, like they just made them all cars. And what the f is that? Well, after coming off the success of something as good as something like Ratatouille,
Incredibles,
and The Incredibles, and Toy Story.
And if you were going to do a sequel to any Pixar movie, why haven't they not done a sequel to Incredibles? They're doing Finding Nemo sequel. They're about to have a prequel
for Monsters Incorporated.
I mean, why have they not made a sequel to Incredibles yet? What is the wait? The kiddies loved it.
The kiddies loved it.
The Cars.
Which is why kids are stupid.
We're going to move on.
We're going to move on.
The number 4 pick overall is going to be a movie that, there's a story that goes with this one.
Story time.
So I was going to the video store and I heard about this movie and I saw the cast and it was, I'll go ahead and tell you, Brad Pitt and Sean Penn. And usually you would be like,
that would be enough to watch this movie.
That's it. And that's good. And that's what I did. That's what I did. So I went and bought this at the store, not knowing anything about it. And if you've already guessed by now,
all 3 of you,
that movie's True to Life. And a lot of you are going to give me crap. Probably. It's Terrence Malick is artful. He's that type of filmmaker, and yes, I understand that.
We want to go on the quote right now. We're not bashing Terrence Malick.
Now, this movie, this is what I like to tell people. This movie is a movie that should have been for the Discovery Channel or something. Yeah. It should have been like a Discovery Channel special, Terrence Malick.
I understand the way how like a movie can be surreal for the sake of art, but the perfect example is something like any David Lynch movie.
It's not entertained by this movie one bit, I don't think. But we're gonna go ahead and move to your number, the number 3 pick.
Oh God, my number.
Let me go ahead and say I have not seen his number 3 pick, but I've heard it's awful, and most people today would agree that it's awful. So
okay, so my number 3 pick, and anyone that is a fan of the show like I am knows exactly where I'm coming from with all my rage. My number 3 pick is Dragon Ball Evolution. I own all 9 seasons of Dragon Ball Z. I own all 5 seasons of Dragon Ball. I even own both seasons of GT. But this movie took what was one of the greatest sources of, like, see? This movie, it makes me mad.
He stumbles.
I stumble.
When he wears the mustache, he really gets...
When I wear this...
It turns him into a different person, and
I gotta shave, man. Yeah, made Goku some angsty teenager. It made Piccolo just this uncharactered, like generic Power Rangers villain that you would like. Power Rangers had better villains than Piccolo was in this movie. I would agree. Yes,
even though I didn't see it, I would agree. I love the Power Rangers.
I'm still going, but for the sake of this episode, we're gonna have to cut it short. But either way. The only other good thing that I can think about for this movie that it was barely over an hour 20 minutes, so I didn't have to sit through this any longer, even though it already felt like 3 hours of pain to begin with. It's a movie. Shut up! It's bad. It's really bad. I hate this movie.
Okay.
Raped my childhood.
Number 2 for me was a movie that I'll tell you that when I was in the theater, I fell asleep watching it because it was just, I think you'll agree with me. We've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've seen this movie before in other movies.
Yes.
And that's really what just ruined this movie for me. And that was the overly hyped and then continuously overhyped, and then it made like the most money ever.
Of all time.
Over time. And that's Avatar. I love Terminator 2.
Terminator 2 is
I love
great.
Terminator. I love Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure this
Even The Abyss was really good.
And Titanic isn't a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's well made. But why did everybody love James Cameron after this?
Mm-hmm.
Like Avatar steals components from about every I was about to say Pinocchio, Pocahontas, and Dances with Wolves, and
Fern Gully.
The
The thing about this movie is that it was well made.
It was yes. Visuals, were great.
Mm-hmm. James Cameron, he tries to substitute these great, a good story with these just overwhelming visuals.
Yeah.
And whenever I saw the movie, I think the thing that really ruined Avatar for me was not the movie itself, the fans after the movie.
Oh yeah, people created religions for this shit.
Is that I could get over the fans, but whenever the Academy Awards nominated it for Best Picture, I knew it was going to win for Best Visual Effects and Art Direction, but whenever it was nominated for Best Picture, that's the part where I drew the line, and I knew that this movie was really going to get on my nerves.
And they made it seem like it had a chance to win.
Yeah.
This film, it really hit a nerve with me because I don't like James Cameron anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's
pretentious as all.
Yeah, and also I think he's just so overrated as a director. He's not. He doesn't do anything special that I'm like, oh, that's a Cameron movie. He's doing something special here with the camera. The number 1 pick is one that we both
universally agree on. And
we have a consensus.
And we hope all of you agree with us as well, because I think you will.
You will, because
I think you will.
Da, 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 da. You don't want to give an introduction to this. The Last Airbender.
Piece of shit.
I will come out and say I am an M. Night Shyamalan fan. I think he is a great director. I think he uses the camera very well to tell a story. If
he had got someone else to write this movie, it probably could have been good, but he took the roles of producer, writer, and director for this movie. Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the greatest animated shows I've ever seen.
It really is.
Now, whenever I watched the movie, I always remember M. Night Shyamalan for his great twists in his movies, and whenever I walked out of The Last Airbender, I was like, oh, the twist is that the movie sucked.
Well, he already showed that twist with the happening.
Still.
And maybe even Lady in the Water.
It's a cruel prank! Moving on.
But, we're done with this.
I'm gonna go kill myself.
Mom! Meatloaf! We're going to get into our first movie news segment for the show, and what's better to talk about than the Oscars last night?
Yeah, the Oscars.
Oh, the Oscars Sunday night were just
fantastic.
That's not usually something I would say in the same sentence, the Oscars and good. Because usually we're pretty disappointed with what happens in the Oscars. Everybody won something.
Everyone won for something, especially the major films.
Except for Leonardo DiCaprio. He didn't. He didn't even.
No Leo love.
First of all, Seth MacFarlane did a great job hosting.
He did.
He really did. He was, he was himself. Obviously, he was himself. But he didn't try to steal the show. I think he was it was good balance.
He was professional,
and I think
as professional as we saw your boobs can go.
And my favorite joke that he had was probably the most inappropriate one, but the Lincoln joke about how.
The only person that can get inside Lincoln's head better than Daniel Day-Lewis was John Wilkes Booth.
Oh, God. It was, as soon as he said it, I was like, oh, and then I was like, okay, that's hilarious.
Yep.
There was also a lot of surprises.
There was major surprises.
Major surprise. I really, and I wasn't really pulling for anybody specifically, but like the actress, Jennifer Lawrence won.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought
that was a big shocker.
I thought Jessica Chastain would win. She did great. And you didn't see Zero Dark 30, did you?
I did not.
I saw it, and she blew me away. She was good.
Even though it was absolutely assured Daniel Day-Lewis was going to win. Shocker.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
It was one of the few times where like almost all the contenders were well deserving of that award.
Yes, they were. You know, I was really hoping that there was a slight chance that Joaquin Phoenix was going to be like.
Daniel Day-Lewis was not running this year or dead.
Yeah,
it would be Joaquin Phoenix more than likely because he was fantastic.
The Master was just totally like.
It's probably one of the most underrated films this entire year.
The other surprise, and I think this is the one we probably would dispute the most, and that's the animated movie. Okay, I know Pixar's great, and they've made a lot of great movies, and almost every year other than last year, I don't think they've ever not won a Best Animated Movie. But I thought this year for sure they were going to lose again, you know, because I love Paranorman.
Paranorman was the best movie for me.
Then Brave won.
And then Brave won.
Yeah, and you know...
The movie that spent like almost a year and a half fixing that girl's hair.
Yeah. If there was anything we would say really bad about the Oscars this year, is there were a few movies that really just didn't get acknowledged at all.
Oh, yeah.
Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Perks of Being a Wallflower is another one of those great underrated movies.
Yeah, it was sad. I mean, I had such nostalgia watching this movie.
I mean, the first time a teenager movie was done right, and then they completely just ignored it for everything.
Yeah, yeah. But adapted screenplay nomination. I mean, God, the guy that wrote the book,
wrote the screenplay, and directed the movie.
I mean, you can't get any closer to the book.
Yeah.
By the guy that actually wrote the book, writing the screenplay.
What about Ang Lee winning Best Director?
I'm not mad about it.
Not mad about it at all. That Ang Lee definitely did something that most directors today don't know how to do, which is use visual effects as a medium to tell the story.
Yep. Ang Lee should do Last Airbender.
Ang Lee should have done The Last Airbender!
Yes! There you go.
How about Ben Affleck's acceptance speech for Best Picture? How much he was just freaking out, like, forget Denzel Washington doing lines of Blow and Fly. He did like 6 lines of just straight Colombian before the show.
So did the guy that wrote the screenplay for Argo.
Yeah.
He was very excited. This year, for some reason, we always focus on the girls' dresses. But what I noticed out of everything was that a lot of the dudes' haircuts were the Fabio style. Long hair, flowing hair, grayish, blondish hair.
The whole movie looked like the whole thing just looked like a rejected Old Spice commercial. Yeah, but one of the big ones, the 2 big ones that a lot of the people cheered for was the awards for Best Supporting Actor going to Christoph Waltz.
I was really surprised, honestly.
Yeah,
but I was glad.
I was glad too.
I was glad, and also that leads to Tarantino actually winning Best Original Screenplay,
which was oh my god.
Tarantino is probably the only director that could put the word in his screenplay 100 times.
Over 100 times. And people go like, we're going to give an Oscar to that guy.
Oscar. Well,
it's fake. It's all fake.
We have made it to the end of the show, and we're... Second episode. It's 2 episodes. I wanted to put together a trailer of all the movies coming out this summer to give you kind of a preview of what we're going to be talking about for the next months to come.
And we have a pretty good lineup coming.
Yeah, Man of Steel.
Man of Steel is going to be great.
Star Trek Into Darkness.
Star Trek Into Darkness is going to be fantastic.
Pacific Rim.
That's my thing.
That's his guy right there.
Guillermo del Toro is the man.
Yeah.
Yeah!
But we're going to leave you with this trailer. We hope you like it.
And we'll see you on the next episode of Movie Man Cave.
troops and we cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. It's when a girl walks in with an itty-bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung.